You're down
Hey,
there. And
made it.
Okay, I have more people coming in too. Sue, are you there? I think Sue walked away. Let me see here. Okay. Come on in. There we go. Okay. Somebody else down here. We got more people coming. All right. My goodness, who is in the dark? I can't see. Eileen.
Patsy?
Is that Patsy? I see Eileen in the dark. And that's okay. If you want to be in the dark, that's fine with us. I'm waiting for Sue. Oh, Sue. She must have walked away when I said, wait a few minutes.
Here, I just never turned anything on.
Oh, there she is. There she is.
Hi,
Hello.
Sue.
Hey,
Hi.
Sue. Okay, I just want to, for those people who don't know who Sue is, she's in the Burgundy, is that Burgundy? Yeah, there she is.
Whatever.
She is my friend of many years. And in 2016, she became legally blind with geographic atrophy. She's a psychologist. And she had been using and still uses this type of therapy called dialectical behavior therapy. It's not any voodoo kind of stuff. It's basically a cognitive type of therapy where you evaluate your thinking patterns and learn skills to change them. And so she kindly agreed to join us these Saturdays. And without further ado, yes, kindly, very kind.
Okay.
Anyway, today we're going to talk about mindfulness. And Sue, first question. Why should we learn about mindfulness?
Oh, well.
What's it going to do for us?
Well, I mean, sounding trite and stupid and all that, which I've been known to do in the past, it's pretty much a panacea for everything. I mean, they report that, and I see some head shaking, yeah. You know, when you go on the web, it's use mindfulness for this, use mindfulness for that, and you think, no way. It doesn't work on all those things. It works on all those things. You know, anxiety, depression, it works on pretty much everything. So
Okay.
that's the reason we should be using it. Knock, knock.
I got him.
Yes.
I got him. You just go ahead. I'll
Okay, mindfulness. I'm going to start out making sure that my tablet is actually lit here. Okay. And talking about what mindfulness is not. There's a lot of confusion between mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness is not truly meditation, although meditation requires mindfulness. Okay, mindfulness is a quality and meditation is a practice. To be mindful, you don't need to be in a private place at a set time, a set setting. It can be practiced everywhere at any time, and it's pretty much a nifty little thing. Mindfulness is not a blank mind. I have had, and I will say, go into this a little bit later. I've had clients who have said, I can't be mindful. I can't make my mind shut up. No, that's not the way it works. It's not a blank mind. And I will say in about 30 seconds that the only blank minds are dead minds. We're not made that way. We constantly chatter. It's not bliss. It's not withdrawal from the world. It's not escape. It's not relaxation, although it can contribute to a lot of those things. And it's not this woo-woo, nonsensical practice that your mother warned you against. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. This is woo-woo. It's just a very nice basic practice. It's actually found in all religions. It's not a practice that you have to be a holy man, isolated in caves somewhere. It's not the exclusive property of religions such as Buddhism, though we do in DBT, we get into a lot of Buddhism just because it's dang good stuff. You know, I like Buddhism, I really do. It's a quality of consciousness. And, you know, when I talk about what in DBT we talk about as the 3 basic qualities of consciousness, which are mindlessness, awareness, and attention. I tell the dumbest stories in the world, but they're so stupid that people remember them. So if I'm going to meet Lynn for lunch and they put her all the way on the other side of the restaurant and somebody has put a purse in the aisle, if I fall over the purse, I am being mindless. I have not seen it. I am not aware of my environment. I'm operating pretty much on autopilot and not really taking anything in. If I'm aware, I have some knowledge of what's there and I will go around it, but I'm not really paying attention to it. And in that case, when I get across the restaurant to Lynn and she says, "What did you go around?" I'll say, "I don't know, something," because I wasn't really paying attention to it. And that's fine if you're going to be operating in your life on half, you know, and actually being there half. You can be aware. But what we actually like is being attention. Okay, so mindlessness is the lack of awareness or attention to the present moment. And, you know, you're kind of living in autopilot. Awareness is knowing that there's something there, but really not seeing it, not concentrating on it. And, you know, like it allows you to accommodate for something, but not really focus on it. And attention is actually putting your focus on things. Attention is the spotlight and awareness are the footlights. If you went into a play and they had a scene there with the footlights up, and I said, "Okay, look away. What was in the corner on the right-hand side? What color was the chair?" You might not be able to tell me. But when the spotlight comes on and it's on that chair in the corner, you'll be able to tell me it's a burgundy, it's got fringe. You know, you'll be able to tell me all about it because your attention focused on it. Okay, so attention is focusing on what's there. Okay, making things figure instead of ground. It's a concentrated state of awareness. And mindfulness is actually a function of attention. Being in control of your mind is actually being in control of your attention. And that sounds pretty easy. It's, again, one of the hardest easy things you're ever going to do in your entire life. You know, focusing your attention. You have to keep bringing it back and bringing it back. And, you know, like last time I talked about my puppy analogy. To me, mindfulness is like a puppy that you're trying to train. You put it on the paper, he runs under the kitchen table and leaves you a little present. You pick him up, you put him back on the paper. He runs into the living room and goes behind the couch and you have another problem. You pick it up, put him on the paper. And you do that all day long. Again and again and again. And that's mindfulness. Mindfulness is not actually staying where you want your mind, but the act of repeatedly bringing it back. Because no, your mind is not still. It's constantly going. Okay. Let me see. And checking my notes here. Being mindful requires being attentive to things that you don't necessarily want to see. It means not holding on to things that you want to see. And that gets into Buddhism, where the Buddha said that suffering is desire, that we suffer because we wish to hold on to what we had. We are desiring something that we do not have. We're desiring something that other people have. So you need to be attentive to things that you would not choose to be attentive to because they're reality. And you can't hold on to things that you'd like to have because they're not reality either. And Marshall Lanahan, who is the person that devised DBT, uses the analogy of the Buckingham Palace guard at the gate. And I disagree with that analogy because those guys are sharp and they are constantly evaluating and judging and rejecting and taking in, he's okay, he's not okay. I prefer a fixed security camera as an analogy. If you are a fixed security camera on a building, you don't get a chance to choose what you are looking at. If a good-looking guy comes walking through, he comes through, he goes out. You don't get a chance to turn and watch him. Oh, look at that. There he goes. You don't get a chance to do that. Okay. Likewise, you don't get a chance to choose what you don't see. So if a bum comes up and pees in the gutter in front of the camera sees it. And that's what mindfulness is. It's not rejecting. It's not, choosing to stay with something. You don't have a choice. You just see what's in front of you. Okay. So, and a lot of people don't like that because they like to be able to pick and choose what it is that they are aware of, that they're attentive to. And that doesn't work out so well in reality because in actuality, we don't get that choice. Okay, so in order to be mindful, what do we do and how do we do it? Okay, we use what skills, which is observe, describe, participate, and how skills. And Lynn, you can start getting your audio visual going here. Okay, non-judgmental, okay, one mindfully and effectively. And you can only do the what skills one at a time. You can only observe, you cannot observe, describe, and participate. You can only describe, because when you're describing, you're not really observing and you're not participating. And, vice versa. And I see at least one head shaking. Some of this sounds familiar. I'm taking it, huh? Okay. And the how skills, you actually preferably do them all at one time, non-judgmentally, one mindfully, and effectively. Okay. And Lynn, do you have the baby?
I have the baby.
Okay, put up the
Give
baby.
me just a second to get the baby. Okay. The system is slow, so bear with me.
Okay, I'd say sing, but I don't think
No, hold on. I have to go to the phone.
Okay.
And I think I did. Did I not? No, I did not.
Uh-oh.
All right. Just give me a minute. I got it. I know I have it somewhere here. I did practice this all day. It figures.
I know you did.
I did. I told you I did.
Okay.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Okay, observe. I know that many of you have children, you have grandchildren, and little ones are all eyes, ears, and mouths, also hands. And since I can't see you, but I'm assuming that some of you are shaking your head, yeah. And observe is what you see in an infant. Okay. Okay. We gave up on the baby.
I'm going back. You keep talking.
Okay. Observe is what you see in an infant. When he is just kind of going, are we here yet? All I have is a black screen.
Yeah, I know. And this is crazy. I did this morning. Ay, 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 ay. No, it won't connect now. So
Okay.
we do not have the baby.
Okay. Can you pull them? What are you on? Are you on a laptop?
Yeah, but what I did this
Pull them
morning,
up on your iPad?
actually my iPhone, and that's what I was trying to do, but just, okay, you're going to have to describe it till I.
Okay.
Don't look at the screen, just talk.
Okay. Just talk. Okay.
Let's talk.
This is very hard for me because I spend a lot of time judging faces, and talking to nothing is rough. Okay. All right. So observe is just taking it in. It's just, okay. I have a totally different screen here. How about that? I think everybody jumped around. Okay. Observe is just taking it in without any judgment, without any categories, without any naming. And once you are a language-based person, that is so hard. You can do it for half a second at a time. But, you know, essentially, again, in Buddhism and in Zen, there is a saying that says, in the beginner's mind, there are many options. In the expert's mind, there are few. Okay, and that is a paraphrase. But the idea is to be open, to be actually observe. There, wait a minute. No, that's the brake.
Yeah.
That's not a baby. That's a brake light. There he is. Oh my heavens. Okay.
We take everything in. We go, oh wow, look at everything.
And
long ago.
And because they have no preconceived notions, everything just comes in. And, you know, occasionally when I'm teaching this, we'll talk about the benefits of an empty mind. And, you know, my clients will go, oh yeah, I have an empty mind. There's nothing there. You're not supposed to have an empty mind. Yeah, you are. Because with an empty mind, things come in. And you're open to new possibilities and new concepts and just so much. So that's observe. Observe is something that is exceptionally hard for us to do because we have language. And all language is value laden. All language is value laden. Which takes us, or at least most of it, to the next one, which is describe. And I'm going to ask for some volunteers for describing. Lynn, do you have the description one? Oh, there we go. Oh, somebody tell me about that. Somebody describe it. Careful.
Untidy.
Oh, Joni, right?
Yeah.
Joan? Yes, Joni?
Not where I want to live.
Okay, Joan. Is this Joan?
Untidy. Which
Yes.
Joan?
That's Joan. Joan, you fell into my trap beautifully.
Oh, got it?
Yes, got it. It's okay. So thank you. But you did fall into my trap. And you know why?
Why?
You were judging,
Yeah.
not describing. You had taken that picture through a filter in your mind that
Yeah,
said,
I've had kids.
you had taken that through a filter in your mind that said, oh, that's not supposed to be. Right?
Yeah.
And you rejected.
Yeah, right.
So you were not actually describing. Can anybody describe? Tell me what they see without a judgment?
I see a lot of clothing and materials, and they're in different states of being in a pile or hanging or coming out of drawers.
Okay, pretty good. Okay, so in other words, how do you feel about that room when we have, is that Joan?
Yes.
When we have Joan's description as opposed to the other Joan's description? How do you feel about that room? Are you
Same.
the same? Okay.
Same.
Okay. Usually it becomes more accepting. You know, you're actually seeing what's there. You're not judging, you're not rejecting, oh, well, yeah, there are clothes. And there's jewelry. And there's a teddy bear. And drawers are open. And that's what I see. That is what I see.
Maybe they're going through a KonMari cleanup, like I'm doing right now.
Okay. But, you know, it's like, you know, that's what you see. And, you know, actually you can use this to, in some ways, like, you know, like AMD, you know, like, okay, what is actually going on? I have like, what was my vision last time? I think it was 2100 in one eye. I have 2100 vision in one eye. And I think the other one's worse. But what does that mean? That's what it means. There are certain things I don't see. I depend upon the dogs a whole heck of a lot to tell me when somebody's coming towards us on our walks. I don't read properly. I have to ask my husband to read things to me. But is it horrible? Is it awful? Is it I can't stand it? No, it's not. That's a judgment. That's a judgment. That's put through a filter of what I expect, of what my prejudice are. You know, I'm not being judgmental on that. Okay, and the last what skill is participate. And I love this video. It's a little bit long, but
I got that one, I think.
you got that one?
Yep,
Okay.
here we go.
Okay, this is the Sasquatch Music Festival 2009. Makes people happy when we play it. Well, we need the music. You can't do it without the music.
Wait a minute.
What happened to your audio?
There.
Nope. Keep trying. Okay, we need to work on this, I think.
I'll fast forward a little bit.
No, it's not.
Now it won't stop on my desktop.
Oh, happy days. Okay,
Pause,
here we go.
pause,
Okay,
pause.
back.
Ah. Oh, this is just beautiful. Now it won't stop.
Put it on. What happened?
Stop. Jeez. Oh, I got it, Sue. Sue, it should have been on the screen. No. So,
What?
True.
What? I tried to turn it down off. Hold on a second. Yes.
It's not stopping, Sue.
I don't know what to tell you. I
Stop
haven't.
it.
You're wait a minute. You were the computer major, and you're asking me? No.
You can't stop it? There we go.
I can stop it on mine.
Yeah, it stopped. That was my fault. Okay. So what was the point of all that?
Oh, the point of all that. This is the Sasquatch Music Festival 2009, and bless his soul, I don't know what he was on, but he was participating like you would not believe. And he was dancing like no one was watching. And he was totally into everything. And that's
So
the
he was
way,
in the moment.
in the moment, not caring what anybody says. And another, I don't know if anybody has ever been in Pennsylvania, but they have, Bethlehem has a music fest in the summer if we ever get out of this lovely pandemic, but that's another subject. And the one night we were watching it on TV, and there was this Down syndrome kid. The music was going, and he's dancing, and he's dancing, and he's in front of the camera, and he is just so uninhibited. And then they put it on these two 13-year-old girls who were going, and it was like, oh my God, really? But it was the difference between totally into the moment and not aware of anything, and totally out of themselves and out of the moment and worried about everybody else. Okay, so non-judgmentally, one mindfully, which is just basically the same as being mindful, and effectively. And effectively is doing what works. And this is actually my favorite one, because I was raised by a man who would say to me, good enough for poor people. Okay, so Daddy would do something and he'd look at it and they'd go, good enough for poor people. It wasn't the way that the expert would say it would needed to be. It wasn't perfect. It worked. And this is so important when you are dealing with your vision loss. It may not be the way you always did it before. It may not be the approved way of doing it. Does it work? Does it work? And that's the most, be in the moment, get the job done, like we're, basically, back to the cable guy, get her done. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so all of these require paying attention to the reality that is in front of you. Being in the moment, seeing and seeking and not rejecting and not judging or evaluating. And like I said before, it is so very important to be, we all switched again. Okay, so very important to be in the moment. Reality is where you are. And you can't not accept reality. And I think I said this last time, was that acceptance is the only way that we can rationally change. You've got to accept where you are, because that's where you start. And those are the parameters of how you're going to change. Like it took me a little bit, to get through the emotional stuff when I initially lost my vision 6 years ago. But, the only way I got what I needed, my CCTV, which is here, and, this has got a zoom on it. The only way I got that was to accept where I was. I couldn't get the tools to move on until I said, I need this. This is where I am. This is where I'm going to be. This is what I need to do. And acceptance is essential. Okay. So basically we're talking about, it is what it is. You know, it's not what we'd like it to be. You know, we can't go chasing that hot guy down the street with our fixed view camera. It's not, we can't reject what it's not, what we don't want it to be. We can't reject what we don't want it to be. We can't not see that bum peeing in the gutter. We've got to be here. And that's mindfulness. Mindfulness is hard. The Buddha talked about how man has monkey mind. And if you have anybody who ever watched National Geographic with a troop of monkeys in the tree, you're kind of like, whoa, okay, they're all over the place. That's your mind. And you're not going to calm it down, not until the day you die. And I don't even know whether that'll happen then. But you just understand, and we just jumped again. You know, you just understand that it's the best that you can do. You're not going to calm it down. You just take your puppy, which is your mind, and bring it back. And pick up your puppy and bring him back. And constantly do that. And not be judgmental. Judgments will rob you of your power. Judgments will rob you of being able to do something to help yourself or to help somebody else. If I were a teacher and I said, you know what, Johnny is a lump. He sits there in class and he doesn't take anything in, and I don't know, I just cannot educate somebody who's a lump. What have I done to my chances of actually reaching Johnny? And the dog just sneezed. God bless you. Okay. What have I done to my chances of reaching Johnny?
You've
You've
lessened
destroyed
them,
it.
really.
Okay, I heard two people speaking. Joan, what was it?
You've lessened your chances of helping him one day.
Yes, I have. And was there another
Yeah,
comment?
I think you destroyed your chances.
I did.
I was a teacher for 20 years.
I destroyed my chances. I absolutely did. I have taken my power and given it to this kid as a lump.
Mhm.
I have given it to my preconception that he is worthless. And I'm not going to do a thing with that kid. Absolutely not. Because judgments will rob you of your power. You know, if you say, this is impossible, this is too hard, this is not fair. Oh, I love that one. And I would like to know whose parents told them life was fair.
Would you say that mindfulness is good to practice when your brain goes into, what if my vision gets worse? Oh, well, wait a minute. Now, wait, let me think. My vision is okay today.
I was trying to say, you're going into the future. Okay, if you're thinking about the past and ruminating about what happened in the past, you're depressed. If you're constantly thinking about what's going to happen in the future, you're anxious. And why do you want, what do you have now? Truly, does anybody have now? Anybody? What do you have?
Everything you need at the moment.
At the moment. Thank you, Joan. Yes. At the moment, I have what I need. So, Joni, I'm going to pick on you because you like to talk to me and I like to talk to you. Okay. How are you right now?
I'm sorry, which Joan, me?
You?
I'm feeling good, Sue, thank you.
Okay. Chair comfortable?
Now I'm thinking about it. Yes, it is.
Okay. You hungry?
Nope.
Nope.
Had breakfast.
Temperature okay? In the
Oh,
room?
yes. Very nice. Yes. Very
Right now
nice.
you're good. Okay. We're gonna wait. Joan, how are you now?
I'm a bit worried about what you're going to ask me next.
Good for
You're
you,
fine.
Joan.
You're fine, aren't you?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I am basically.
You were fine
Yes.
50 seconds ago. You're fine now.
Yes.
I'm going to assume you're going to be fine in another 15 seconds.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to ruin that?
No.
No. No, I don't either. It makes no sense to ruin it.
Sue, we have about 30 minutes.
Okay, well, we want to do those. I mean, I went through this like really rapidly, not getting myself, caught up in side things, which is me. I'm not blaming anybody else, but that can be me.
I
Okay.
think that we're to the point where you had some examples of mindfulness, some
Okay.
exercises.
Yeah. Okay. You do not have to take yourself into your room and sit on the floor and do exercises. Not necessary. Okay. Do any people still drive? I haven't driven for 6 years. No, some of you still drive. Okay. And I saw, oh, that's the other Joan. Okay. Do you get stopped behind somebody in front of you for a light, or they're just kind of sitting there? Do you get frustrated? Yes. Okay. So one of the exercises is to actually look at their brake lights.
And here's a picture of the brake light, Sue.
Oh, hey, good job. Okay, so look at them. Actually put your mind and your attention on them. They're rectangular. They're bright red. Not so much orange, not so much yellow. I can't see what the texture is, but but just focus on the brake lights and observe them, possibly describe them, and get your mind off of the fact that you've got 5 minutes to get to that doctor's appointment, and you know full well if this guy doesn't move, you're not going to get there, and that doesn't matter. That's just putting your heart rate up, your blood pressure up, everything. But right here, right now, that guy is in front of you and you're looking at his brake lights. And you're not going to get stuck there in a reverie, because the instant that he pulls his foot off the brake, the lights are going to go out and you're going to be able to move. But that'll keep you from thinking about it. Washing dishes. Anybody still wash dishes by hand anymore? I imagine there are some people who do.
Yes.
Oh yeah, look at those hands go up.
Those hands going up. Do you ever focus on washing your dishes? No? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to tell me about it? Let me see. That's Debbie.
Yes. I wash dishes by hand. Of course, I'm sure most people do it by choice nowadays. We all have access probably to dishwashers. But I find it very therapeutic. Holding the dish, feeling the warmth of the water, the suds that I use, the dishcloth, just the motion of it. It's just very intentional.
Yes. And you are describing mindfulness, Debbie. You are describing intentionality. You are describing be in the moment. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
So
Okay.
your assignment this time is not to put the dishes in the dishwasher, right? You're all going to get the soap and everything, and you're going to wash your dishes by hand, right? Maybe
Yeah,
not. Yeah.
maybe not.
Okay.
But you can do that for anything. I mean, I don't want to tell you how many meals I've eaten that I cannot tell you what it tasted like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, or I was doing something else and I was eating automatically. But you can eat mindfully. The Buddha said, when you walk, walk, when you eat, eat. And you can walk mindfully. You can actually feel when your feet hit the ground. You know, put your mind in your feet and put your attention down there and feel it when you hit the ground. And left, right, left, right. I do that when I swim. If I want to be mindful and I'm swimming laps, I'll, you know, left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm, you know, down to the end, 1, left arm, right arm, you know, back 2. And it'll take me away. It will allow me to not think about things that I, you know, don't want to think about. Okay. Doorknobs, believe it or not, how many, just hypothetically, how many times do you think you touch a doorknob in a day? Half a dozen, a dozen? Has anybody ever thought about when they're touching the doorknob? You do it automatically.
Nowadays you think about it because of all the notices about.
I was going to say
keeping-
the same thing.
Okay,
That's true.
but in better times, Joan. Okay. You know, most people don't even realize that they've that they touched the doorknob. You know, so when you put your hand on the doorknob for a second, it's cool, it's warm, it's round, it's hard. Think about actually turning it. And this is mindfulness. This just brings you back. Because remember, we have monkey minds and we're this way or that way. And, you know, just come back and be here. Okay. And breathing. Okay. Anybody know how to breathe? Okay. Joni, you know how to breathe.
I guess I better. Yes, I know.
Okay. How about the other Joan? Put her hand up. How do you breathe?
You're muted.
I think she's on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute. I can't.
Oh, I think I
There we
do. I've practiced breathing in Kundalini yoga, and
Yes, you do.
so, you know, where you really focus on like breathing in and holding it and counting and breathing out and counting, and you try to really slow your breath down so that you can slow it as slow as possible.
Okay, you can do that. That's one way. Or
Mhm.
you can do square breathing. Up, hold, out, hold.
I do that in the car when I'm feeling anxious.
Mm.
I call it rectangle breathing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, you know, 4, 4, 4, and 4, or if you want to do rectangle, 4, 6, 4, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can also do just basic in, like 4, 6, and then out. 6, 8.
I just like, I just like feeling the rise and the fall of my chest.
Yes. And that
Something
and
so
you're
simple.
being mindful because you are
Yeah.
getting into the sensation, into the here and now. And if you have trouble getting your mind to actually stay, You might want to add a little bit of complexity. And this is very little bit of complexity, except I'm going to hit.
Of what?
Okay, up, you breathe up,
Yeah.
you reach the
Oh.
top, then you breathe down. So adding just that little bit will actually focus you. And if that's not enough, you do breath longer than movement, which is up. Keep breathing in when you get up to the top. Keep breathing out when you get to the bottom. So that adds a little bit of complexity to it, and that will keep your mind more on what it is that you're doing and why is my mouse not doing anything. Okay.
I think too, when you're moving, like breathe out to the left or to the right, breathe into the left. When I do that, it's also, I think, moves energy, and I feel like it helps me not feel so blocked.
Okay, so you're talking chi or prana?
I'm talking chi,
Okay,
energy.
right, which is also in Indian, it's the prana, but same, pretty much the same difference in a lot of ways. Okay, so yeah, and that's like beyond the scope of this, because I'm not a practitioner of that sort of thing and really could not teach it. But okay, so you've had some energy work.
Well, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of in my head. It's if I'm moving, then I'm focusing on what I'm doing.
If that works, that's fantastic.
I think that one of the points of this is you don't need fancy equipment. You do not have to buy anything. You can do it wherever you are. I know I get anxious and I'm thinking, oh, geez, tomorrow I have to do this, I have to do that, and I have to stop and pull myself and stop myself. And I think that's part of this, is you have to pay attention to where your head is. Are you, as Sue said, if you're thinking about the future, you're creating anxiety. So you draw yourself back in. You can breathe, you can look outside, you can look at your feet, you can take a walk. But it's so effective, and it's, as Sue says, one of the easiest, hardest, how do you say, hardest, easiest thing?
Easy thing you ever do. Yeah. People go, oh, that's easy, I'll just do that. Whew, yeah, right.
For me, mindfulness, I look upon it sometimes as experiencing something for the first time.
Observe.
I could just be something like taking a hot shower. How many thousands of hot showers have I taken? But on this particular day, I'm going to slow down, and I'm going to really, really enjoy every drop of water that touches my skin.
Okay, Sharon,
as if it's the first time.
Yeah, Sharon, that's observe. That is, the beginner's mind. That is, when that picture of that baby, they were like just taking it all in, and it was all new and, squeaky clean, and we had no preconceptions, and we had no negative memories. And, that's nice if you can get that. A lot of people cannot. Because
one thing Sue mentioned about participate, and I did have a video, but I'm afraid to play it. Participate, like the video of the guy dancing like no one's watching. Any of you in Britain? Anybody here with me who's in the UK? No? My friend in the UK goes to a tuneless choir. Okay, she has a blast. It's anybody goes. You don't have to sing well, and many people don't. They are tuneless, and they just go together and they sing, and they do not care what they sound like. Everybody, and while you're doing that, you're not thinking about the future. You're thinking about, I am having a blast, or, oh boy, that person really has a bad voice, or, and like last night, Sue insisted we go through this. So I've been feeling ill. And we got on Zoom and we started chatting about this and that. And she said, how do you feel? I said, fine now. I haven't thought about it for the last half hour. So,
Going
you
to
know.
say nothing about the audio visual today, considering
Oh, don't.
we wanted to
Don't.
talk to
Oh, come on. I am so embarrassed. I did
It's
practice.
okay.
Anybody else have any examples of how you use mindfulness or how you might use it? Or any questions for Sue?
I can tell you the things I do that make me feel better. When I'm having a bad day or something is more blurry or whatever the story is with our eyes, I just say, maybe it's good with all this COVID stuff that I'm home because I'm so safe and I'm surrounded by my artwork. I'm surrounded by all the things that I love. And I just feel so safe here. And I have food in my refrigerator, and some people are out in the cold. And I say, and a lot of people get macular degeneration when they're much younger than I am. And then I talk to my guides, and I say, anybody that wants to come in and listen, you know, St. Anthony, this one, that one, Jesus, all forms of God, all energy. And I talk to them, and I know that they're always with me so that I'm not alone. And then I'm proactive. I know the places where I can get rides if I need that in the future. So I know what I would need to do, and I've joined places that I don't need yet, but I've joined. Every day that I can work, which I'm still working, but it's on Zoom, so I'm safe at home and I can still do it. Driving is more difficult, but I'm doing it, I'm okay. And reading, I'm managing, and I read more on my iPad. Some books, the print is just too small for me to be bothered with, but I have to always think about what I'm grateful for. And I find as I get older, I don't get into the future as much, because my next decade, when I go to another decade, I'll be in my 90s. So why do I want to think about the future? So that shuts me right off, and that helps me. But the real truth about our breathing changes. When I change my breathing, my blood pressure goes down. I'm not hypertensive, but I can tell when my blood pressure goes up if I'm really anxious. So I get out my blood pressure cuff and I take my blood pressure, and then I say, okay, and I change my breathing, and I say everything is okay, and I breathe slowly and try to picture something nice. I can bring my blood pressure down 30 points by doing that. It really works, the breathing.
Oh my heavens, you just gave me about 10 points in there that I teach in DBT. You hit upon comparison skill, which is, it's not as bad as it could be. It's not as bad as it was. It's not as bad as other people's. You hit on gratitude work. You hit on prayer. Oh my heavens, woman, you hit on so much. I'd have to actually listen to the recording to see what all you did hit on. But that was a treasure trove. Absolutely.
That's our Layla. Is it Layla or Leela?
Leela.
Leela, that's our
I've worked for
Leela.
years on myself, and I've didn't get into anything spiritual until I was 45. And I was a psych nurse for 30 years, an addiction nurse. But I have learned through the years to have all these various tools.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't use them, what good is it? I mean, none of us are happy with this disease. But then I say, look what we could have. I know people with multiple sclerosis and other things, and I'm doing nursing assessments on people my age and younger that are looking for help at home. And I'm the one doing the assessment. So I'm saying, thank God for that.
Okay.
It's like, it's what can you do? We're in a body. in one way or another, the body is going to disintegrate. The body is not going to last forever. It could be my eyes. It could be my ability to walk. There's so many things that it just aren't like it was when I was 30, but that's what the body does. It says the word acceptance again. The body wears out.
Acceptance. Reality is what reality is. And if you continue to think about it and reject it, that we, reject, will continue on, So you can't resist something because it will persist, worries. Yeah. So, hey, I'm hearing you, woman. That was good stuff.
I believe if I lost my vision in this life, that when I go to the other side, I'll get it back. I won't be in body form, but I will be able to see. That's my beliefs. That's just my personal beliefs.
Well, I'm working on that in this life. I'm in studies, so hopefully. But you gotta wait. So that was fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lynn?
Maybe we'll get her to do a session.
Yeah, she should. My heavens.
There you go. I'm always looking for volunteers,
That
I'll
was
do
a
anything.
wonderful attitude.
One day I was so upset about this disease because I couldn't see one line as well at my exam. And they said, oh, it's not so bad. There were only a few numbers you didn't see. Well, I know it was worse. So I was so upset. So I said to Alexa, if I say too loud, she hears me.
yeah.
And I say, play Creedence Clearwater, play The Twist by Chubby Checkers. I actually danced for a whole hour. I'm 82 years old. I danced for an hour and it burnt off all of my anxiety.
Yes.
That's an excellent thing. That's
danced,
just,
Okay.
that's participate.
Yes,
That's
that was
what it is,
participate.
participate. Dance like nobody's watching.
And then
Exactly.
you also had two other concepts in there.
Yep.
One was opposite to emotion.
Mm-hmm.
That if you look at what your body wants you to do, basically at that point in time, your emotions in your body wanted to crawl in a hole, right? Because you were so frustrated. You did the exact opposite. You did opposite to emotion, which would pull you out of there. Okay. And the other thing that you were talking about before, when you said that the breathing will automatically pull you out, it will, because it's a physiological function. You as a nurse know that, like with your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system, that the breathing will trigger the parasympathetic nervous system and you will feel better. You'll relax. So that's it too. Vagus nerve. Yeah. I mean, there is so much here. So much. And you just, like I said, you just brought up a total treasure trove. We could go back and forth on these concepts like for the next 3 hours, but I don't think anybody wants to listen. So what else do we
Maybe
got?
we could
Linda?
find a way to break things down. Maybe we could do one session on spirituality, which is not religion, it's
No,
different.
it's not.
Some people, when they hear the word spiritual, they think it's religion. And maybe, just break it down into different subjects to simplify it.
Well, Sue did in the first session talk about faith, whether it's capital F faith or small f. Having faith in something, having faith that we saw this last year, we saw a new treatment, the port system. This coming year, I do believe we're going to see approval of the study Sue is in, the medication that Sue's been getting, the APL2.
Yeah, they're doing something with their information because they called me yesterday and, wanted to know, confirm a few things. So they're sending it on to be analyzed. It'll be soon.
Oh, faith, you're right. Yeah.
My
Well, we-
girlfriend said they're doing stem cells in Israel for eyes, but I would question that. I don't think they're doing it anywhere for eyes, but it's just something she told me. It doesn't mean
You're
it's
doing it
true.
for, okay, Layla, is it Layla?
Leela.
Leela, I'm
Yeah.
getting there. Give me your time here. What they're doing is actually for the RPEs. You're not going to get your vision back, but you're going to get the servants for your vision back.
You're gonna get the what for your vision?
Okay. Okay. Do you know what RPEs are?
No.
Retinal pigment epithelials. Okay. Your retinal pigment epithelials are the ones that are dying.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
And they are the servant cells to the photoreceptors.
yeah, yeah,
They clean up for them, they feed them, they do everything that they
yeah,
need.
yeah.
Now, when there's no servants, the
Okay.
kid dies. And that's what's happening to us. You know, like my RPEs, they're a lovely little divot in the middle of my retina. They're
Yeah.
dead. They're gone. And since my since my retinal cells don't have anybody to feed them, they've died. Okay, my photoreceptors. Now they are replacing the RPEs. That they can do. But the problem is it doesn't replace your vision. You don't get your vision back. Because they need to do the photoreceptors. And Lynn, to my knowledge, they have yet to find a way for them to connect, yes?
Correct. I did look that up. They're still in preclinical trials. so
Yeah, so basically
It'll come.
what they're trying to do is get the photoreceptors to connect to the optic nerve. And once that happens, we're golden.
Well, they're also, and it's still preclinical, they are trying to get some other types of cells. I can't remember if it's
To
bipolar
convert,
cells
yeah,
or
to
something.
convert.
They're going to get them to act like photoreceptors. But the thing
Yeah.
with the stem cells that they're doing now is that some of your RPEs are not dead. They're just damaged.
They're just dying.
And they're keeping the photoreceptors working to some degree.
Right.
And so if they replace the
RPEs.
the RP, if they replace the ones that are ill or damaged, then the photoreceptors can continue to work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
some of your photoreceptors are on life support.
yeah. That's
And if
it.
they can get them off life support by giving them appropriate, like feeding and
Reinforcements.
cleaning and RPEs, then they'll come back. But,
Yeah.
but right now it's an issue that has not solved, but it will be.
So I think that was that gave us a lot of exercises to do. Remember, we're all going to wash our dishes by hand, right? We're going to
Yeah.
smell the soap. We're going to feel the water. We're going to look at the dishes, the minutia of, grime on them, right?
I'll
Sure
find
we are.
another way to be mindful. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we will all be mindful in our own way, and I am very mindful of my appreciation for you doing this, Sue.
Thank
Do
you
you
very
have-
much.
Do you remember what we're doing the next time?
Yeah, we're doing distress tolerance.
Oh, well, that's important.
Yeah.
How do you tolerate being in distress? Because we're always being pummeled with things that are distressing.
Yep, and you're not going to eliminate it.
Right. Okay. Anybody have any comments?
Linda, I
Shut the
put in,
TV off. It stops some of the stress.
I'm sorry, what?
If we shut the television off, it stops some of the stress.
So,
Sometimes I
shut the
just
TV
say,
off,
I've had enough of this news.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I haven't-
Joan was going to say something. Go ahead, Joan.
it's sort of too late now to go into it for this session, but did I remember that Sue, when she was describing DBT in the last session, she said, you needed the ability to hold two different ideals in your mind at the same time. And if she
Yes.
did say that, could she go into that a little bit further?
Okay, well, if anybody doesn't want to listen to this, bye, and then okay. Basically, two things can be true at the same time, Jen. Okay? So you can need to sleep, but you also need to be awake to do something. You need to eat, but you need to also perhaps fast because of something else. So that's two things can be true at the same time. You can, let's say that your husband wants to go and visit your mother-in-law this weekend. And he can say, she's old, she's lonely, we need to do this. This is a family responsibility. And you can say, yes, she hates me, she's a witch, I really don't want to go. Now, what statement there is false?
I'm sorry, what was the question
Is
exactly?
there a statement there that's actually false?
Oh,
That she
no,
hates you.
they're all true, but I'm wondering, and I can understand that bit. How does that help you in mindfulness though?
It's understanding that two things can be true at the same time. This is DBT over, like this is the overview of DBT.
Yeah, yeah.
But it helps in the therapy itself, because in that particular one, like interpersonal effectiveness,
Mhm.
rather than say, you're lying, my mother's not a witch, da, 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 you can accept the other person's point of view. And then, so DBT is thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. You get towards a greater truth. So maybe in that way, it could help with mindfulness, because you are working towards a greater truth and acceptance of greater truths. But that's DBT overall.
Oh, okay.
Dialectic, okay? Does that?
Yeah, I can see, rather than setting up an argument, you just let yourself see the other person's point of view. I just didn't like, it kind of tied in with Trump and his truthiness type of theory. And I didn't.
Oh my God, girl, don't get me started.
I know, I said it's too late.
Your examples to me sounded like it's perception. We can have, it's what our perception of something is. That mother might not hate you when you think she hates you. The mother could be angry or all kind of things and have actually a disturbed personality, or have grown up with parents that drank and used drugs, anything. But it doesn't mean in her heart she really helps you. I mean, hates you.
Well,
there's a lot of ways of taking what you said apart. So,
okay. Well, another thing that you're talking about from DBT is it's not necessarily you. Like people will say that they're at fault, that they cause things, that this is all, why did this happen to me? Well, it's not necessarily you. There are lots of reasons for things to happen. And, that comes into the fairness too, that, the one time we were teaching, and I use my vision a lot when I teach, but my father had it. I'm female. I'm over 60. I have high blood pressure. I'm not fat. I don't smoke. I don't have blue eyes, but I have like 5 out of the 8 risk factors. And my question becomes, why not me? It's nothing I did. I just was, I have a rather large target on my head saying you will get macular degeneration. My father had it. My grandfather had it. It is what it is. It's not that I did something wrong. It's not that the world is out to get me. It's just, it is. And it's not always you. Sometimes the universe just lines up in an unfortunate way.
It all happens to teach us something. And there's a neurologist that has a sign in his office that says it is as it is.
It is as it is. It is as it is. You know, and I use a story about, I had a client one time who had a very bad auto accident. He was late. It snowed. There were two kids, brand new drivers in a car going too fast. You know, he saw that they were going to collide and he turned the wheel and chose to run into a bridge. Okay. So what caused that? What caused his accident? What caused his injuries? Was it the snow? Was it the timing? Was it the kids? Was it his choice? You know, that's the way it is. Things line up and the stars align and there you are. So, you know, don't go beating yourself up because of something you may have done to give yourself this disease. You know.
I thought, you know, I used to sit in the sun on the beach all the time and read, and I never liked sunglasses. I never felt I needed them, and I never I felt I see as well with sunglasses. And then I say to myself, how much did you enjoy sitting on the beach reading? I loved it. And if I were to go back in my life, well, you can't go back. I just have to say, I loved it.
Yeah, that's right. And how many other people who did the exact same thing developed AMD? No. You know, it's not necessarily you. You know, not to coin a phrase here, but shit happens. And when you can figure out why it happens, then we'll come worship at your church. You know, you'll be God. I don't know. Okay, Lynn, are you frozen? Are you there? Okay, she looks like she's froze.
You know, I thought of something different, humor. You know, there was this big, huge rock when I was driving, and for a minute I thought it was a car, and then I laughed at myself. Or there's one stone that looks like an animal or something when I drive in, and or the depth perception, the way I see the snow on something, I either think it's closer or further or something. But sometimes I laugh at it instead of saying, oh, isn't this awful, blah, blah. I find some humor in it, and that will help me.
Oh, yeah. You have Bonnet syndrome.
No, I don't. No, it was just big in a shape, and I thought it was a car, but no, I don't have that.
Okay, is Lynn back yet? She left us.
Oh dear. Well,
Okay.
it's just getting late-ish.
Yes, I know. Well, I have no idea where she is. She said she lost everybody. So yes, it's getting late-ish. So ladies, it's been wonderful. I'm going to call this a day, and I'll see you next week sometime, and we'll go from there.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
Are there any like books on mindfulness that you have found that are really good, or any other?
Oh my God,
resources?
there are thousands.
I know there's so many. That's the thing.
There are really thousands of them.
I didn't know if you had found one that, or anything that helped you.
No, not really. I haven't found anything that's particular. I'm doing a, excuse me, I'm doing a home education thing on anxiety, and one of the handouts is 10 1-minute mindfulness exercises.
That sounds good.
So
Maybe you could share that with us. That would be great.
maybe I could share that with Lynn, and she could share that with you. Is she back yet?
Oh, there she is.
I think she's trying.
Oh, connecting to audio.
No.
Oh, you're muted, Linda.
There we
You're
go.
muted. Oh, there you
There we
go.
go. Well, it's nice
I
to
lost,
join us.
Yes.
I lost everybody.
Yeah, we figured that out.
Welcome back.
We carried
Okay.
along just fine without you. It's all
I
right.
know, I know. I'm sure you did.
We were just saying that maybe Sue could share, she has something about the 10
I got
like
it.
exercises for
Now,
mindfulness. or
where'd you
something.
go? Where'd you go?
Oh, uh-oh. Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh, she
she's
is
gone
having
again.
problems with her
She's gone again. So
Oh,
much for
boy.
technology. Okay, we'll tell you what, I
Yeah.
will tell her that I have that,
Thank you.
and I'll try to scan it and send it to her.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks so much for everything. Really,
Okay.
really.
Yes, thank you,
No problem.
Sue.
Thank you for being
Thank
such a good
you.
audience.
Thank you. I'm
Okay,
sorry I
take
was
care, guys.
late.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.